A couple climbing in a remote forest. Suddenly, Rich is pulled off the cliff by an unseen attacker, and Haley is dragged away screaming. This sets the tone for the terror that will follow. Chris Flynn is driving through the West Virginia backroads, trying to reach a job interview. A traffic jam caused by a chemical spill forces him to take an unmarked detour. Chris's car collides with an SUV parked in the middle of the road. The SUV belongs to a group of friends, Jesse, Carly, Scott, Evan, and Francine, who are stranded due to a flat tire caused by barbed wire deliberately placed on the road. With no cell service, they decide to search for help on foot, leaving Evan and Francine in the car. While waiting, Evan and Francine are attacked by unseen figures. Evan is killed off-screen, and Francine is gruesomely murdered when she goes looking for him. Chris's group stumbles upon a seemingly abandoned cabin in the woods. Inside, they discover horrifying evidence of cannibalism, including body parts, jars of human remains, and personal belongings of previous victims, as well as bloody tools and weapons, suggesting the cabin serves as both a home and a workshop for their macabre activities. They realize they are dealing with dangerous and sadistic killers. The discovery of the evidence sends them into a panic. The group hides when the cannibals return to the cabin with Francine's corpse. They witness the cannibals dismembering and eating her body, confirming their worst fears. The group is horrified as the cannibals mutilate Francine's corpse and prepare it for consumption. The tension is palpable as the group tries to stay silent while the killers are only inches away. After their grotesque meal, the cannibals fall asleep, providing the group with an opportunity to escape. Chris and Scott carefully move to unlock the cabin door while Jesse and Carly follow. The group tries to leave quietly but accidentally makes a noise, alerting the cannibals. The group flees into the woods as the cannibals grab their weapons and pursue them. Chris and Jesse create a diversion, allowing Carly and Scott to flee. While running, Scott creates a diversion to save Carly, allowing her to escape. Scott sprints through the woods, drawing the attention of the cannibals. As he runs, he dodges arrows being fired at him from one of the mountain men, who is armed with a bow. Despite his efforts to evade them, Scott is ultimately struck in the back by an arrow. He collapses to the ground, wounded. As Chris, Jesse, and Carly look on in horror from a distance, Chris, Jesse, and Carly find a fire lookout tower and use it to call for help via a radio. They manage to contact the authorities, but the cannibals spot them and set the tower on fire. The group is forced to jump from the burning tower into the trees below. They hope the dense branches will provide cover and a way to move unseen. The cannibals pursue them, climbing into the trees as well. One of the mountain men wields a large axe, making the situation increasingly dangerous. While navigating through the branches, Carly freezes in fear and despair, lamenting their dire situation. Carly is killed and a cannibal decapitates her with an axe mid-jump. Chris and Jesse are horrified but have no time to mourn as they must continue their desperate escape. They find a secluded spot under the waterfall to rest temporarily. The scene emphasizes their desperation and exhaustion, as they have been running and fighting for their lives without any reprieve. Despite their best efforts to stay quiet, the cannibals eventually find them, forcing Chris and Jesse to run once again. Chris is elsewhere trying to distract the cannibals. Jesse is ambushed by cannibals. She fights back but is overpowered by their strength and numbers. Chris manages to flag down a police officer who is patrolling the area. The officer stops his car, and Chris urgently explains their situation. One of the cannibals suddenly attacks him. He uses a bow and arrow. Chris instinctively dives into the underbrush near the roadside. This quick thinking allows him to stay hidden as the cannibals approach the car to retrieve the officer's body. The cannibals drag the officer's body away, presumably to use it as food. Chris hides under the police car to avoid detection. Cannibal drove the car while Chris was holding the rod under the car, and Jesse is restrained and prepared to be the next victim of their cannibalistic feast. During the rescue, Chris sets the cabin on fire and tries to release Jesse from chains. He gets attacked from behind. One cannibal throws him to the wall and tries to kill him. Jesse saves Chris by killing the cannibal with arrow. Another cannibal attacked and they killed him. After killing both of them, they burn the whole cabin. The cabin is now fully engulfed in flames. Chris and Jesse escape by using a truck that they find, which belongs to the cannibals. They drive away from the burning cabin, finally escaping the hellish nightmare they've been living through. In the final moments of the film, a sheriff arrives at the scene of the now burning cabin. He finds the remains of the cannibals and inspects the wreckage. Before the film ends, one cannibal, who is heavily burned but still alive, kills the sheriff, leaving a hint that the cannibals are not fully vanquished and that they may continue their violent rampage.